we heard barkings, dogs were barkings and shootings, and yelling at the people to come out to the market square. At that time, everybody was walking. There was lots of chaos. This was part of a German scheme to put fear in the people. So my grandfather was told to get one of these wagons, and then instead of going to the train station, they would take him to the cemetery and killed. When they opened up the boxcars, there were floodlights at you. There were guards, Germans and Ukrainians. We had to jump off the boxcars, and we were beaten with whips as we were getting off. We always telling ourselves we got to survive. So one of us would tell what happened, because we were afraid we all going to die and nobody will live to tell what happened. Now the camp was pretty big. And when we got there, we knew something was going to be different, because there were ditches dug already. So our first thought was, they're going to kill us. But then after a while, they brought in people from the Krakow ghetto, and they're killing them in Warsaw. And we didn't see the actual killing, because we were on the side. And but every once in a while we had to, after every killings we had to jump into the ditches and straighten out the bodies, because they were falling in. They're trying to get as many as they can. And I remember we had to use lye and some disinfectant to go ahead and cover the layers of bodies. And I can still smell that stuff, went over our nostrils and our bodies. And usually after they get through with this, they go ahead and kill you, because, so there'd be nobody to tell. So we know somebody's going to be hanged, but we don't know who. Sometimes they'll take people out of the formation and kill him for somebody escaped, which didn't happen too often. So after a while, when I was one of the first ones there, our unit, so we were close by. Me being short, Germans wanted to show that everything looks nice, so the smaller people were in the front and the tall ones in the back, so everybody can see. Me being short, I was in the front, had a good view, scared to death, because you don't know what's going to happen. Then they brought in two people, a boy of 16 and a man of 30. The boy of 16 was accused of being a communist because he was humming a song, and the Ukrainian guard turned him in, saying he was trying to entice him to turn him back to communism. And the man of 30 was accused of sabotage. He was working on a machine. The machine broke. So the boy of 16 was first. He was crying, was begging to let him live, that he's not a communist. It was an innocent song, but he wouldn't hear of him. They hanged him. And then the rope broke. The kid fell to the ground with his rope around his neck and crawling on his hands and feet, towards Get, and hugging his boots, kissing his boots, and the guy just kicked him, and they hanged him again. And the other guy saw what happened. He had a razor blade in his hand, and he cut his wrists, and they hanged him bleeding. I still cannot look Germans in the eye. This is 50 years later. I can still not look, a German in the eye with a clear conscience. You always wonder, where were you when that thing was going on? There was nobody. Everybody in SS disappeared. Everybody was on the Russian front. You couldn't find an SS man, a Gestapo man with a flashlight. So we knew the story. We knew who they are, and even what the Germans were saying, they didn't know anything about it. But how can you not know nothing about it? You live right next door. You see trainloads of people coming in, screaming every day, and getting out empty, and there's smoke belching all day long. with the smell of burning flesh, and you don't know what's going on, so it's kind of hard to believe. You got to be tolerant of your fellow man, and speak out when you see anything done to somebody. Because myself, I really feel if people would have spoken out in 1940s, early 40s, against the atrocities, Hitler would have stopped. The reason he went on because nobody said nothing.